I want to take a moment to just make sure some of our expectations and policies for students are clear and obvious. And foremost of those are our intellectual honesty and artificial intelligence policy. The bottom line with both of these is that we're a school teaching and training students to be equipped for ministry. Part of that is evaluating individual students' mastery of concepts and principles from the courses. We're also trying to train for Christian ministry, which could be pastoral or eldership or be a deacon or music ministry, children's, youth, men's, women's, marriage, singles, whatever it might be. Given that honesty and strong Christian ethics are important to our program, much more fundamentally than most programs. So, to plagiarize and use artificial intelligence to do any work is antithetical to the process of discipleship that we're going through together. Plagiarism, just to make this clear, is using someone else's work and then claiming it as your own. And you don't have to steal an entire book in order for it to qualify as plagiarism. Just a quote of one line uh, from someone else and then putting it into your work, putting your name on it and turning it into us qualifies as plagiarism. When you plagiarize, you're claiming it as your own when you're putting your name on it without a reference to the source or the content. And the solution to plagiarism is actually really simple. You do your own work, and when you use sources, which we're expecting that you'll use sources, you just say so. That's it. It's that simple. So if you ever draw from an author or a thinker, a commentator, a book, a video, whatever it might be, and you use it in your writing, use an idea even. You don't have to do a direct quote. If you just use the idea without citing it, that's also plagiarism. So you draw these ideas or quotes from these other sources, you put it in there and put the reference to where you got that source. That's all. Even in a verbal presentation, which we have sometimes in Artios, you would just verbally say, so here's my idea, da 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 da, and that comes from so and so. That's all you have to do. Just a quick little, that comes from so and so, or some phrasing like that. That's it. You just don't leave anybody to assume that the idea was yours and you didn't draw it from somewhere else. And again, at RTS, we're expecting that you're drawing ideas from other people. Just cite that. The second issue is artificial intelligence, or often called AI. And the bottom line with AI is just don't use it at RTS because you're being tested for your ability to do these tasks, to have the conversations in these classes, to summarize content, to apply it to your life, to wrestle through issues. If you aren't doing that, then you're not doing what the point of the training is. And as a dean, I already know AI can write papers. I know they can gather information and summarize it. But we're teaching you and then we're grading your ability to do these tasks, not AI's ability. So to plagiarize or use AI to do your work are both serious ethical issues since you put your name on anything you turn in and without citations. And if you use AI and then present that work as yours, then you're getting credit for Christian ministry preparation for work you didn't do or for work that isn't your idea. Those things just cannot be when it comes to Christian ministry and training. Also, you should be aware that we use plagiarism and AI checkers on assignments, and these have been tested against, especially the AI ones, they've been tested against papers and assignments that we know exactly what the content is, and the AI checkers are very good. The reality is AI can recognize AI. Using AI also is not something that someone does accidentally. You might accidentally plagiarize, maybe. That shouldn't really happen either, but you definitely don't accidentally use AI. So if we find a student uses AI or plagiarizes, the typical discipline is a zero for that course, not just the assignment. We'll also look back and see if we missed AI generated work or plagiarism before, if potentially we suspect that. So that's just to say that it's better, it's more ethical, it's more constructive and productive for you as a student developing as a servant of the church if you don't plagiarize, which is a super easy one not to do, and don't use AI, which is also pretty easy not to do if you are going to decide not to do it. One last thing I want to note before I finish here is that AI can be used in ministry. So Artios is not anti-AI. We believe there's useful ways it can be engaged in ministry. It's just at Artios, you're a student trying to show your mastery of concepts, not AI's mastery. So just a quick example or a couple examples of how you could use AI one day, or you could use it while you're at Artios, but not in Artios assignments while you're in ministry. You could be doing RTS assignments, no AI. You could be in your ministry position at your church, and you could use AI. Although I suggest you talk to your leadership team, even if you're the pastor at the time. Talk to your leadership team and see how people feel. Have that discussion. Be open and honest about those kinds of things. But a couple examples how you could use AI. You could ask AI to generate a song list of songs that relate to a certain topic. That doesn't have any ethical issues to it. You're just asking AI to do some research for you to find some information, maybe even find some songs you didn't know or you didn't think of as relating to each other. That wouldn't be an issue, partly because it's going and grabbing some information, and then the worship team still has to practice and prepare and then present the music themselves. AI can't do that, or I don't know a church that would want AI to do that kind of thing. Another one would be if you're a preacher and you put together your sermon, you've generated your sermon, not AI, and then you put that sermon into AI and ask AI to make notes for the audience or to have discussion questions for that or for a Bible study that, again, you have generated. So sometimes you could ask AI to do those kinds of things. In that case, I would personally cite, hey, these notes were generated using AI, or this Bible study and these discussion questions were generated using AI. Another really useful way that maybe churches haven't thought of so far, but if you had a job or a position, a ministry slot you were filling, and you wanted to have a job description with it, you could go to AI and say, okay, we're a small church. We want to have a job description for this position. This position is responsible for these couple things. These are some qualifications, and then ask AI to write that job description. Because most of our churches don't have HR professionals in them, that could save you hours or even weeks worth of work as a church board to just ask AI to do it, and it can do it in 5 seconds. Another one would be if your church is looking for a pastor, you could ask AI, what are some of the best practices for a pastoral search, or even what's the sequence we should do, or how should we look for a pastor? How should we advertise? You can have AI do those kinds of things. Again, that saves you having to work for many hours at something that churches don't spend a whole lot of time doing because hopefully you're not looking for a pastor all the time. Another final one is you could ask AI to just find relevant pictures or videos for a presentation. In that case, again, I would highly recommend citing AI use. But that's just to give an idea that at RTS, just don't use AI. But in ministry, you should cite the use of AI in most of those cases, but you can use AI to do useful, ethical, reasonable things in ministry as well. And there's probably others that I haven't included here. The last thing I want to say is if you have any questions about any of these things, feel free to talk to us. You can contact student services. You can talk to me as the dean or any of the deans. You can talk to your instructor. Ask questions. We're not scared of that. We'd rather students ask questions and we can sort through difficulties rather than guess and then figure out the consequences later if you've done something wrong. So, again, God bless in your ministry preparation. Ask us any questions, and we hope that you are growing and challenged and that you have all the support you need to be effective ministers.